In this video, I'll be ranking the episodes of Doctor Who Series 2. Stay tuned. What is up, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me today. If this is your first time on this channel, let me introduce myself. My name is Ahmed, and in this channel, I do Doctor Who reactions every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday. Starting from next week on Monday, I'll be starting Season 3 of Doctor Who, or Series 3, and also Torchwood Season 1. Alright, so starting with number 10 is Fear Her. Now, I know I made a U-turn here. I think I said before that I liked Fear Her more than I liked Love and Monsters, but here I am telling you guys that Fear Her for me is number 10. This episode had no place in the series or in the season. It had a very fair, decent story, but it felt out of place in terms of the story of the season or the arc of the season, which is why it's in number 10. Number 9 is Love and Monsters. Now, probably this is the most polarizing episode in Doctor Who, maybe, from what I've heard from you guys. But for me, it was a bit of a change. It's a routine breaker, and it felt a little bit fresh at the beginning. I like the idea of starting the episode from the point of view of normal people. Just like at the fan club of the Doctor and the TARDIS. So it was nice to get into that mentality and that mindset instead of the usual Doctor Who structure for the majority of the episodes. Now, the Abzorbaloff is probably the worst villain that I've seen so far. I hated the character. I hated its powers, I guess. Yeah, so it's probably the worst one ever. Number 8 is the Idiot's Lantern. Now, The Wire is probably one of my favorite villains so far in Doctor Who, the new Doctor Who. I don't know who the actress is, but I think she did an amazing job portraying that character, and it really made me feel uneasy, and she was quite threatening just being on TV, like on a monitor. So that's kudos to the actress who played that character. Absolutely amazing. The Faceless People were creepy as well. This series keeps creeping me out as we go along. So the Faceless People were definitely creepy for me as well. In number 7 comes the episode New Earth. New Earth is the first episode of season 2, and we came across an old foe. We saw Cassandra, aka the Bitchy Trampoline. I really love her. I love the character. As crazy as she looks, as crazy as she is, actually. I really enjoyed her, and I really was very sad to see her go at the end of the episode, even though the ending was actually quite fitting for her. I would love to see more of the Face of Boe. There was an encounter at the end of the episode between the Face of Boe and the Doctor, so I'm looking forward to whatever promise that the Face of Boe made to the Doctor. I hope we can see that in the future, maybe in season 3. In number 6 comes Tooth and Claw. Now, you guys know by now that I really like direwolves and werewolves and everything has to do with wolves. I mean, given the t-shirt. So for me to see in this episode, to see the werewolf, to see the CGI, which was amazing, definitely one of the best looking villains by far in the new Doctor Who. And I love how we keep coming across these historical figures. First it was Charles Dickens, and then now it's Queen Victoria. So I always love when we do that and when we come across these historical figures, just to see how they would behave in certain situations. And also it was nice to see the origin of Torchwood. I think Queen Victoria is the one who laid the footprints or laid the foundation for Torchwood, the Torchwood Institute. So it was nice to see that in retrospect and see where it all started. just one point in this episode, the monks felt very out of place. Um, were there monks in the UK back then? I think this was in Glasgow, I think. No, sorry, in Scotland. Not sure if it's Glasgow or not, but this was in Scotland. So I'm not sure if you guys had monks back then. In number five, and it's probably a tribute to the old Doctor Who, is School Reunion. This episode can only be summed up in three words: Sarah Jane Smith, the ultimate companion. Now, I didn't know about Sarah Jane, but later on, talking to you guys as well, um, apparently she's the best companion that the Doctor has ever had. So it was nice to see her in this episode. At the beginning, there was no context at all about how influential she was and how important she was to the Doctor. But I loved the chemistry that they had. I loved the final scene between them. It was very, very emotional, and I loved that aspect of this episode. This episode had a very decent storyline. The villains, the Krillitines, I think they're called, the Krillitines, they were nice. Not nice looking, but they were efficient villains in this story. So I really, really like this episode. In number four, and this might be very, very controversial, is Army of Ghosts / Doomsday. Now, Doomsday is one of the best episodes of Doctor Who that I've seen so far. The reason I'm putting it in number four, it's because it's a double episode. It's a two-parter. So for me, Doomsday is one of the best episodes that I've seen. However, if you look with if you pair it up with the Army of Ghosts, it takes number four for me. Now, what can I say about this episode other than Cybermen versus Daleks? Rose Tyler coming to an end. Rose Tyler as a companion is officially done. The last scene of this episode was very, very sad. Even though the fact that she's still alive, it didn't hit me like emotionally to see her go as a companion, because at the end of the day she's alive, and I liked her. I really liked her as a companion. I didn't love her, truly love her, as much as I loved Christopher Eccleston, and how sad I was to see him go. For Rose Tyler, I think she was a good companion. It added a little bit of spice into the series. Of course, they can't make her lovable and flawless. They need to introduce some aspects to her character. So if some people found her annoying, that's because it's good to see that. It's good to see the characters being people, just normal people, having their flaws. But I liked Rose, and I'm gonna miss Billie Piper a lot. She was a fantastic actress. This two-parter made my jaw drop multiple times. First one being seeing the Cybermen again, which was very surprising because I thought they were gone for, especially because you can breach the parallel universe. That was closed for good, or so I thought. But apparently, they found a way. They found a way, and I was very, very surprised to see them. And how awesome to see the Daleks and the Cybermen fight. That was amazing. And that one scene between one of the Daleks and the two Cybermen in the hallway, I think, where the Dalek just kept going at them with quick wits and, just firing shots at them. Amazing. One of the funniest scenes that I've ever seen in Doctor Who. Moving on to number 3 is The Age of Steel and Rise of the Cybermen. So in this two-parter, we got introduced to parallel universes. And also it was the episode where Mickey broke out of his shell and turned into a certified badass that he really is. And I knew he was going to be an important character since the beginning. Just because they were portraying him like a coward, which I didn't buy. but I love seeing Mickey as the true badass that he is. He deserves this. He deserves to be an important character, and I really, really enjoyed seeing him in this episode as the hero. Now, this is the episode where we got introduced to the Cybermen, and the Cybermen are truly terrifying just because of the fact that they are actually human beings inside machines, or the minds of human beings inside machines. And it's very, very sad to know that they had no control over what they're doing, and it was sad to see them at the end when they realize what they are, and that scared them to death, and that's very, very terrifying and very, very sad. Also, it was nice to see Pete Tyler again. I really enjoy his character, and the actor is fantastic. At the end of the episode where Mickey decided to stay back and fight the Cybermen, that was a very sad moment for me because I like him a lot. But I'm glad that we got to see him again in Doomsday. Moving on to number 2 is The Girl in the Fireplace. Now, this episode is one of the most emotional and well-written episodes in Doctor Who so far. I really, really loved the storyline, the fact that we got to see the madam's, I'm not gonna say her name, it's kind of difficult for me, to see her life in just this short amount of time, and the chemistry that she had with the Doctor. I really loved that storyline. I loved their chemistry. I loved how emotional he was to see her go. Even though he just met her, but it was a very, very beautiful episode, and even though it had a very sad ending, but overall it's one of the most solid episodes of Doctor Who. I don't mind seeing it again and again and again because it really was well written and very well paced. So I'm probably gonna watch it multiple times because that was an awesome episode. And finally, number 1, and this should not be a surprise for you guys, it's the 2-parter, The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pits. So many things happened in this episode, and there were so many positives and probably no negatives for me. It was a really, really fantastic, amazing episode. I love when Doctor Who tackles storylines involving historical, like religious kind of figures, or even mythical, even universally recognized names and characters, like in this episode, Satan. I love how they made me care so much about the team we saw at the planet. I thought these characters were written very, very well, and they were diverse. They had their specific quirks here and there. They had their own life that you kind of connect with them. This episode also showed how committed Rose is to the Doctor and how much she loves him and how much she cares about him. And as I said before, this episode has so many positive things about it. The fact that it kept me at the edge of my seat for the entire 2-parter. This episode had everything, basically. It had drama, suspense, thrill. It was a thriller of an episode, and really just kept me at the edge of my seat the entire time. It's one of the it's probably my favorite 2-parter. Probably. Maybe this one. I'm not sure. Is it this one or the season 1 finale? Probably. It's very difficult to say which one is my favorite, but definitely in my top 3 2-parters and top 3 episodes by far. Overall. Alright, so that was my ranking for season 2 of Doctor Who, or series 2 of Doctor Who. Of course, this is just my list of my favorite episodes. It's very subjective, so you guys probably have a different list in mind. So let me know down in the comment section below your ranking for this season. And as I said at the beginning of the video, that I'll be doing season 3 of Doctor Who and season 1 of Torchwood starting next Monday. This Friday I'll be uploading my season 2 review, so stay tuned for that. And also, I forgot to tell you guys, I'm also going to react to the Christmas special. I think it's called The Runaway Bride? I think so, yeah. The Runaway Bride, yeah. So I'm probably gonna watch that as well on Friday. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more Doctor Who content like this one. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.